Hello everybody, I'm Jess Burton and welcome to MHTV's Headliner. John Caswell has the week off. After a grueling winter, summer feels like it's just still starting. Almost halfway through the season though, the heat wave is officially on and it's imperative that everybody stay safe in the sun. We're here at Devereaux Beach today for a midsummer report about beach activity and swimming safety. The Park and Rec's Tim Short was nice enough to stop by and give you his advice on the subject.
We have a really great crew on between our park maintenance crew and our beach lifeguards. We're really taking a forefront at looking at handicap accessible for those who need that as well. The new playground behind me has ramps and handicap accessible mats so that people can use these playgrounds safely.
Besides a playground, what are your tips for parents bringing their kids to the beach to keep the kids safe from the sun?
As a parent myself, I have a daughter that's 4 years old and I know that she can run pretty crazy and it's kind of a challenge to keep a hold of her from time to time. But just like myself, when I'm dealing with my daughter, just keep an eye on them, make sure you're aware where they are at all times. I think that's the best tip, just keeping your eye.
And do you bring anything extra, like I see some tents and umbrellas and stuff for the kids, like hats, sunblock, all that stuff?
Absolutely. The natural thing for parents to think about is making sure that their kids are out of the sun as much as possible, especially a day like this when the UV index is probably pretty high. You just want to make sure that the kids are underneath the tent, have a hat on. Of course, the sunscreen always helps as well.
And water safety has been a big concern all over the country recently.
Yep.
Luckily, we haven't had any attacks or anything like that, but we do have some lifeguards on duty. How many do you usually have on duty a day, and are they at the beaches all over town or just strictly here at Devereaux?
Our lifeguards are strictly for Devereaux Beach, and we maintain on Monday through Thursday a ratio of 3 lifeguards. Once the weekend kicks in, Friday through Sunday, we bumps that up to 5 lifeguards. We're well covered. Our lifeguards are well educated, well trained, so certainly if you're coming to Devereaux Beach, you should have a lot of confidence in our staff from the lifeguard standpoint.
And what would you tell out-of-towners about the beach to try to get them to come down?
We have probably one of the most beautiful beaches on the North Shore, hands down. One thing for out-of-towners though, we'll definitely want to encourage you to get here early in the morning. Our parking lots do fill up pretty quickly on the weekends.
So there are a couple of events and a couple of things to do at the beach for in-town residents and out-of-town visitors, such as stand-up paddleboard. Yep. Do you want to elaborate a little on that?
We've been in partnership with East Coast Style Stand-up Paddleboarding. It's a local company here in Marblehead, providing SUP opportunities for kids and adults. They're a great company to work with, and they're actually located just across the street at Riverhead Beach. So definitely check those guys out, and they're a great bunch of people. Know their stuff about the sport of SUP.
That sounds fun. And Riverhead, you guys also have like a little dog area over there too. So can people bring their dogs down to the beach?
Yep, you can bring your dogs down to the beach. We have dog bags accessible to all residents, non-residents down there.
A lot of beaches have restrictions for plastic bags, bottles, cans, that type of thing. Do we have those restrictions here at Devereaux?
No, it's really you carry in what you're bringing in for a lunch or a party. I know a lot of people rent out the gazebos right across from me for birthday parties. Bring in, we have plenty of recycling bins here on the grounds with trash bins as well. And that was one of the big pushes that we had this year, was to increase the number of trash cans and recycling bins so that everyone had a chance to get their waste and throw it into the respectable barrels.
Coming up on August 22nd, we have a sandblasting competition? Or?
So it's actually called the Sandblast Challenge, and it's an obstacle course event for kids and adults. We're partnering with the YMCA, and we're really excited about it. It's a chance for us to create new partnerships in and around town. So definitely go to marblehead.org under the Recreation and Parks Department, and you'll find all the details on this really awesome event.
Are you noticing this year that more non-residents are coming into town than years past?
I would say it's probably still the same amount of people, both on the non-resident side and resident side, coming to the beach. With the good weather that we've been fortunate enough to have over the last couple of weekends, we're really excited to see this number of people coming in to use our beach and the facilities. Not only the beach here, but we have something that not a lot of other beaches might have, is a restaurant. You come, you sit, you swim, and then you can go have something good to eat at Lime Ricky's. It's really a one-stop location. You have everything that you could absolutely need right here at Devereaux Beach.
For this week's Man on the Street segment, I'm a man on the beach, and I'm here to interview town residents and visitors to see if this summer has lived up to everybody's expectations. How are you enjoying your summer?
I'm enjoying it very well, thank you.
After such a tough winter, has it lived up to all your expectations?
I think so, yeah.
What have you been doing for fun?
I work all the time, so I don't do much for fun, but when I do get time off, I come to the beach with my favorite people.
Well, why Devereaux Beach?
We're from Swampscott, so we come here all the time.
No beaches in Swampscott?
Not as nice as Devereaux.
There's something about Devereaux, whether it's just the ambiance, the snack bar, you have the restrooms, the beach, the size of the beach. You never have to worry about the tides down here.
Where are you from?
Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia. How'd you choose Marblehead to visit for the summer?
A lot of family up here.
You enjoying yourself?
Loving it.
Yeah? Did you guys have such a brutal winter down there too, like us?
No, not even close.
No? All right, so for us, it's getting out of the snow. We got the heat, so what are you enjoying about Marblehead?
We're getting out of the heat too. This is beautiful.
Where are you from?
Eastern Pennsylvania, Lehigh Valley.
And just visiting Marblehead?
Just visiting for the day, yep.
Came all the way from Pennsylvania for the day?
Well, we kind of had made a plan earlier to come up kind of in New England and take a look at a few things, and so this is our stop today.
I love the beach, so this is great.
Were you able to visit any other beaches in Marblehead yet?
No, this is the first day we were here. We went to Nantucket yesterday by boat. Yeah, it was nice.
And how do we compare to Nantucket?
Oh,
Beautiful.
it is beautiful.
I love summer. I love the beach. This is my favorite season of the year. And the water's been beautiful. Last few weeks, I've been in the water every day. It's great. It's refreshing. It's really what I live in Marblehead for.
Yeah, it's a great place to be in the summertime, right?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I don't even know why people would want to go away during summer when you have it right here in your own backyard.
It's a great beach. Had a lot of fun today.
Do you come down to Devereaux often?
Yeah, probably 3 times a week or something. Water's clean, it's nice, it's a lot of fun.
It's a great summer and this is a great beach. Devereaux is my favorite beach because great water, cleanliness, nice canopy, can't beat it.
Summertime isn't only our favorite time of the year, but it's our pets' favorite season as well. It's a great time to get the dogs out for some exercise or let the cats soak up the sun in the yard. But summer animal safety is always important to know. Remember, if it's too hot for our paws, then it's too hot for their paws. Here are a few tips to keep your animals safe in the heat.
The biggest summer safety problems we have with our pets are usually heat and water related. As far as the heat goes, obvious things like not leaving your dog or cat unattended in a hot car, because that can lead to heat stroke and fatality pretty quickly. You want to pay attention to the temperature of the sidewalk or the blacktop where you're walking your dog, because that can cause blistering of the feet and other issues with sensitivity. So just be aware of, if it feels hot to you, it's going to feel really hot to them because they're not wearing shoes. The color of your dog or cat is also important because black dogs are going to absorb the heat quicker and are going to be more affected than a light colored dog. And the counter side to that is a light colored animal is more prone to sunburn. They can get sunburn. Even cats that are indoors can get sunburn and skin cancer on the tips of their ears. And white cats are more prone to that than dark cats. So there are pet sunscreens available. If you have a light colored animal, especially that's outside, or a lightly, a thin coated animal, then sunscreen is recommended. The other water related issues are things like not having enough water. You want to have plenty of clean, fresh water for your dog or cat and access to that at all times. And then other things like water sports. It's very fun to take your dog with you on the boat or on the paddleboard, but you really have to be aware of what your dog's swimming ability is. Just because they're a big sized dog, I have a Doberman Pinscher, his swimming ability is not so swell. So I make sure that he's wearing his life jacket when we go out on a boat. He's been on paddle boards and kayaks and things before. So that's important. And obviously some dogs are not really good swimmers, such as bulldogs and pugs. They don't breathe well and they sink to the bottom. So definitely use caution with them. The other side with the short-nosed dogs like the bulldogs and the pugs is they're much more affected by the heat. So you have to take extra precaution for them in the hot weather and keep them cool with fans, AC, just out of the sun. Another thing we do worry about in the summer, for dogs especially, are too many barbecues. Eating fatty and greasy foods can lead to pancreatitis, and as well as other things like just vomiting and diarrhea. And also, be careful where you dump those charcoal briquettes, because if they have, drippings on them, they will go right down the hatch and they may not come back up without having to go to surgery. So that's an important tip to be careful about. You want to make sure they have a nice comfy bed. Make sure that you know what the temperature is doing in the part of the car they're in. Because if you say you have a big truck, the AC may be blasting on you, but the back of the truck where the dog is may actually be pretty hot. If you're going on a real long trip, you probably want to stop for bathroom breaks, but also water breaks. Carry bottled water in a bowl, a travel bowl with you. It can be a good idea to keep their heads inside the car so they don't get a lot of eye issues and, God forbid, the worst thing, falling out of the car window while you're traveling.
During the hottest summer days, you'll sometimes hear about unhealthy air quality in the area. On this week's Eye in the Sky, headliner weather watcher Dave Howells explains that the bad air may be caused by temperature inversion.
You may or may not have heard of what's called a temperature inversion. Simply put, a temperature inversion is when you have a layer of warm air above and a cool layer of air down near the ground. Normally, there is cooler air up above, and it gets cooler as you go higher. And that means that any heating of the ground rises into that cooler air and will continue to rise as long as it is warmer than the air around it. Sometimes, if it's very cold high up above, that warm air will continue to rise very high up, condensing into clouds, those puffy cumulus clouds, and sometimes eventually into rain-producing clouds. On the other hand, when you have a temperature inversion, you have that warm air above acting as a lid, which means that the rising warm air from below really doesn't rise all that high and gets trapped in lower levels of the atmosphere. And along with that warm air getting trapped, you can also have smog. A temperature inversion can occur under two primary circumstances. One is during a clear, calm night, when any heating of the day rises into space, leaving the cooler, heavier air down near the ground. But another more pronounced effect of an inversion occurs during the summertime, when you have a warm air mass overhead caused by large high pressure, allowing the sun to heat up all levels of the atmosphere. And that warm air up above acts like a lid in a greenhouse effect, really trapping the warm air in all levels of the atmosphere. And when that occurs, you can have very unhealthful conditions as smog, smoke from smokestacks and cars and so forth starts to accumulate and not able to rise, but rather get trapped near the ground. For MHTV with an Eye in the Sky, I'm Dave Howells.
Marblehead Little Theater's Accidentally on Purpose improv troupe will be performing Friday, August 14th at 8 p.m. at the 12 School Street Theater. MHTV's James Maroney caught up with the group to ask them some questions about the show.
Phil, it's probably not going to work out. You know, your dad and my dad are both twins.
Should have not been related.
Phil!
Accidentally on Purpose, otherwise known as AOP, is an improv troupe that will be performing at Marblehead Little Theater on 12 School Street in Marblehead, Mass. August 14th, we'll be performing at 8 p.m. An R-rated, adult-only, over 18 show, improv comedy, similar to the TV show Whose Line Is It Anyway? The Drew Carey show, where he has comedians. We take suggestions from the stage and regularly incorporate folks from the audience into the show. Only folks that want to be. It's funny how often when folks come to the show, they go out of their way to say, "Don't pick me." So folks that do want to be picked, we can usually tell who they are.
We're going to do Mark and Eric J, will be played by Bruce right now, all right? You guys front and center.
The show is based on the audience, so we'll have some nights where the audience is younger, we'll have some nights where the audience where is somewhat lubricated or inebriated, and they'll be very risky. It really depends on the audience. They drive the show. Your brother has always been an excellent scooper of ice cream. I would love to go out with him.
Should have responded.
Your brother should have nothing to do with anybody ever again. I remind folks of the old Carol Burnett show. They would shoot the show with the script, and then they would shoot the show and allow the actors to do whatever they wanted, and then the editors would decide what went on the actual one on TV. Now, of course, we're live, so we have no editing ability whatsoever, and we bomb. I mean, there's nights where we bomb, and we have a director who's part of the troupe, Brett Bobbio. He decides very often he'll jump in the middle of the skit and change the theme of it because you know, sometimes we go down silly roads. But we have a lot of fun, a lot of characterization.
JFK style of talk. Be very political. Stay away from the really weird characters and like treat this like a real political debate that's coming up, right?
We've got a little under a dozen adults that young, various ages. I think we're up to about 58, and then as young as 19. We have a kid who's coming back from college to perform with us this August 14th. Very, very funny guy. Our director, Brett Bobbio, also teaches improv in Reading and at various other sites.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are very excited to be here today in Marblehead, Massachusetts, to be hosting the final in the presidential debates. Today we have our two finalists for the Republican Party, Bob Boberson, and over here for the Democratic Party, John Johnson. And we are going to elect the next president of the United States of America today.
It's very varied in age, so because of that, we bring different intellect of comedy to it. One of our performers, Andrew Dunlap, is an author and brings highbrow humor in, very often uses collegiate level words. You know, most of us afterwards will figure out what he was talking about. And then we have blue collar guys and gals, and it's a very diverse group. And we have a lot of fun.
I believe that I am the most qualified candidate in the world.
Marblehead Little Theater is what they call in the theater world a black box theater, which means every director or every entity that comes to the theater uses it their own way. It's a black box. So one director might put all the audience over on one side, or we have done multiple shows here in the round, or 180 degrees of audience, and the crowd's right in the middle.
America is
ready
for this
change
of person.
Leadership
comes
with a
great responsibility.
Accidentally on Purpose can be seen August 14th at 8 p.m. Tickets are $15 and are available online at mltlive.org. And if Shakespeare is more your thing, the Marblehead Little Theater and Marblehead Museum are teaming up this month to bring you Romeo and Juliet, with outdoor performances live from the Lee Mansion Garden.
We're very fortunate to be able to work at the Jeremiah Lee Mansion. It's very, very beautiful. There's beautiful greenery everywhere, this beautiful stone wall that we get to play with, and then the beautiful house in the background is just, it's a really wonderful setting. I just have a really great cast. I have a whole variety of experience. I have people from right here in Marblehead. I have a bunch of students just right down the road from Salem State. And I have a bunch of other really experienced older actors. And then some actors who have been like, you know what, I'm just gonna hop in and do this, and it's been a while since I was in a play, but I wanna be in Romeo and Juliet, and then they're coming in and they're doing their best, and they're doing a really good job. And they're all very eager to work, and they're all very excited about this production.
I've always been a fan of Shakespeare. I've been doing Shakespeare for about 3 years now. First started out at Rebel Shakespeare, and Juliet has always been a very captivating female lead for me. I've always wanted to play her. She's so complex in that she can be very innocent but still have so much power. So just really shows that women can have so much depth.
I think that my biggest desire to direct Romeo and Juliet would be just because it's a relatable story. Everybody knows it, everybody loves it. They hear Romeo and Juliet and they think about how they read it in high school or college. And it's fun to kind of put your own take on it. And whenever I direct something, I really try not to look at what everyone else is doing. I take inspiration from things that I see out in the world, and maybe things I've seen before, but whenever I dive into something, I'm not gonna go watch like the Baz Luhrmann Romeo and Juliet. I'm not gonna watch any of the other ones. I just wanna have my own idea. And that's what I really wanted. I wanted to have my take on Romeo and Juliet. And going back to the whole idea of performing at the mansion, it was the one thing besides the text that I was given that was so concrete. It was just this beautiful, beautiful place. So I immediately was like, you know what? Let's just embrace it and have this performance happen in a garden party. Imagine Romeo and Juliet in a beautiful, beautiful garden party that could happen like on Nantucket, down the Cape, up in Newburyport, or right here in Marblehead. So something that we can all see, relate to, and then a story that we all know and love.
The evening of August 15th is the Marblehead Museum night, so we hope you'll come to any of the performances, but obviously it would be nice if you came on the 15th. And it should be really fun and interesting, and it's a chance to really to bring your own chairs and blankets and sit and watch a somewhat shortened version of Romeo and Juliet. And we really appreciate the opportunity to work with the Marblehead Little Theater and collaborate with another local organization.
And it's the first production that Marblehead Little Theater has done outside at the Garden in general, or outside in general. And it's cool, it's exciting. We go and we rehearse there sometimes, and everyone really is enjoying it.
Romeo and Juliet will be performed at the Lee Mansion Garden August 15th, 16th, 22nd, and 23rd, with 1 o'clock and 5 o'clock performances. Tickets are $20 and are also available at mltlive.org. On this week's Staying Healthy in Marblehead, health consultant Julie Freeman introduces us to women's empowerment coach and Marblehead resident Kathy Michael.
Hello, I'm Julie Freeman. Women are often struggling with the not enough complex, not being enough, not doing enough, and also feeling a lack of deserving. Today I'm here with Kathy Michael, who's a women's empowerment coach, and we're going to be talking a little bit about some of the work that she does. Welcome, Kathy.
Thank you, Julie.
Yes, it's great to have you here.
Glad to be here.
Yes. So tell us a little bit about your story. How is it that you became interested in women's empowerment?
Well, I began during my childhood. I was an avid skier, and I would have so much fun skiing down the mountains with a band and feel like I was dancing down the mountains. And then one day, only maybe 10 years ago, I was skiing with my daughter in New Hampshire, and kerplunk, I fell, and I went over and tumbled on my helmet, and I could hear my hips go crack, snapple, and pop. And I went, oh my God, how will I be put back together again? So I go to see the orthopedist, and he says, nothing really we can do. We'll put you on crutches, and that'll do it. So we did that. I was okay afterwards. And then 2 years later, the pain started down my legs, down the backs of my legs. And I realized, oh, this is, so I go to see another orthopedist, and he says, well, you have spondylolisthesis and spinal stenosis, and there's nothing I can do for you. You can go see a PT, but that's about it. You know, when you get really worse, come back and we'll do back surgery. I said, gee, thanks. I don't think so. And so that's when I began my search into alternative methods. And I started searching anything alternative I could think about, whatever came my way, whether it was nutrition, energy, spirituality. Qigong turned out to be the best exercise for me. And so I studied, I found mentors, I found leaders in the spiritual and the energy field, and I found many modalities as I was studying that really, really spoke to me. And so I took those and got certified, and I have learned so much, and I did heal my back to where on a scale of 0 to 10, I can keep it below a 2 now. I can manage the pain below a 2.
That's amazing.
And I'm somewhat happy with that, but I intend to get it down to a 0. I'm still plugging away, and we're at it, still working at it. And in the meantime, as I healed my back, the most amazing transformation happened to me. I became an extrovert. I had been an introvert all of my life, and I never thought anybody could change from introvert to extrovert or extrovert to introvert. It was just, I didn't think that was possible. But I realized as I uncovered all the layers of programming and what was going on inside of me, that something was keeping me from really living my true essence and being my real self. And I realized, wow, if I could bottle this up and package it, I could teach other people how to do the same. And that's what I've done. And I'm so excited because I've moved from fear into freedom, and that's what I help other people do. And I just can't imagine anything that I'd rather be doing than that.
What an amazing story, and so inspiring. Thank you. So if people would like to learn more about Kathy, please visit her website at www.kathymariemichael.com, Women Empowerment Coach. Thank you so much, Kathy.
Thank you, Julie.
Have a wonderful day.
You too.
And that concludes this week's episode of Headliner. I'm Jess Burton, and on behalf of the entire news team here at MHTV, I'd like to thank you for watching. John Caswell will be back next week, and I'll see you again for the high school fall sports preview in a couple of weeks. Have a good one.